Cory LaJoie provided his side of the wreck that saw him get into the back of Kyle Busch twice, eventually spin him out, and then send Kyle Busch up in to the rest of the field, taking out around half a dozen cars. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Let's just get into what Cory LaJoie had to say here, and then we'll go over what actually happened on the track. Here's what he had to say. Let's take a listen.
I got a big push from the 16 when you're 20th back there, dude. It's in the hornet's nest, and you're 7 wide into one. If you're not the guy on the bottom, somebody else behind you is going to jam it in there and put you freaking middle, right? So I had a bit of a run. 16 gave me a big shot. I got to the left rear of the 8, and he blocked it once, and I just kind of held the wheel straight, and I was almost anticipating our bumpers kind of lining up and giving him a little bit of a shove, but when he blocked it the second time, it just turned him across my nose, and it tore up some good cars.
Did you think you were going to have enough room to get back behind?
That's one of those. I mean, I spun out Jimmy there when he checked up, in Kansas, kind of same thing. He checked up super early, and I didn't see the smoke. He checked up, and I got in the back of him, and he spun down to the bottom and got me in the left rear, so I had flashbacks to that. So I wanted to make sure I gassed it up and didn't get hit in the left rear, which I'm glad we didn't, but I know some other guys behind us did. Yeah.
So that is what Cory LaJoie had to say. Here's what Kyle Busch said. Let's take a listen.
On that restart.
Of course, you have mirrors and cameras and everything else, so you try to get in front of the run that's coming, and I was trying to get in front of that run, and sometimes some don't lift. Kamikaze.
On that restart.
So describing Cory LaJoie as a kamikaze, and then here is some more context. Let's take a listen.
Sometimes some don't lift. Kamikaze.
Did anything happen before that could have led to that?
Did you see where I was running today? Sometimes some don't lift.
So that is what Kyle Busch had to say. We also had this comment here from Richard Childress, Kyle Busch's car owner. This is from Jonathan Fjeld. He says that damn 7, Cory LaJoie is a weapon, a damn weapon. This is actually what happened here. Let's take a look at the replay. You can see there, Busch blocks him. Cory LaJoie then just kind of hits him in the left rear, sends him up the track and into the rest of the field. Here's a really good look. See, they're all kind of fanning out here. Kyle Busch goes down to block, and then Cory LaJoie just kind of comes up the track and hooks him. And Busch goes around and then comes in and cleans pretty much a lot of the back markers there out. Here's another look. It's already happening. Kyle Busch up the track. Not much a lot of those guys could do there after that contact that Cory LaJoie made. I think this is the best angle here. You can see they're already fanning out. They're already 4 wide, it looks like. LaJoie tries to go 5 wide. Kyle Busch blocks him. And then he just kind of comes up the track and takes him out. So I don't really see the second block. Maybe there is a block that he did when they hadn't fanned out yet, but I don't know why that would be a block when you're behind him already. Anyways, they're all still in the line. I wouldn't consider that a block. I didn't really see a second block there, so not really sure what he's talking about there. I definitely feel like he just was not happy with the block and decided to spin Kyle Busch out, and then took out about half a dozen other cars during that wreck. So I doubt that there will be any kind of repercussions. I think there's a racing deal. I don't think it was done intentionally. I don't think NASCAR should penalize him. I'm sure Kyle Busch will memory bank that, though. Obviously, he didn't really have a lot to say. He described him as a kamikaze, but then he also pointed out, look where I was racing. That's what happens back there where you're racing. Like, things get dicey. And with these cars, I think track position is probably the most important thing. I think that's honestly why Josh Berry has probably been as successful as he has, because Rodney Childers and the team over there realize that. They're always trying to get him up front. And you can see that he does indeed run a lot better. Unfortunately, there's usually like some kind of mistake or something on pit road. Something happens where they get behind that strategy and then they end up back in the muck. But even with Kyle Busch, we see when he gets up there, up in the front, he usually can run with these guys because the cars are so equal. So I think a lot of this really does indeed have to do with the pit strategy, figuring out ways to get track position and maintain it and be able to counter other teams when they're making moves to try and do the same thing. And it seems to me like that is what NASCAR is right now. It's a lot about who has the best strategy and who is executing it the best, because the cars are so even, and you really gotta have that track position. And if you don't, you're gonna end up back there running around in 20th, and you're gonna be in a restart, and there's gonna be all kinds of chaos. And this is the kind of thing that happens when you're running 20th and you have a restart with 40 laps to go. You're coming in to the end of the race there. But I don't think that excuses what Cory LaJoie did. I do think that he obviously intentionally came in and hit him. I think he did that knowingly. I mean, he admits there that he did that. He's not saying that he hooked him, but he does say he hit him twice and says that he did that. And then we also have this here. This is the in-car, which clearly shows him hitting him twice. Let's take a look. So I think that's pretty clear. Kyle Busch does come down, blocks him. I think that's a perfectly good move. Good block by Kyle Busch. That's what he's supposed to be doing. Obviously, Cory LaJoie can get frustrated at that. That's perfectly fine as well. Gives him that little shot. I don't think there's anything wrong with that first shot. But then that second shot there, where he just clearly hooks him, I think that was just absolutely uncalled for. And I think Kyle Busch will remember that moving forward. And then also kind of, I think this here kind of throws a lot of water on what Cory was saying. You can listen to the radio here between him and his team after the wreck. Let's take a listen.
You all good there? I think so. Check the notes. He hooked himself.
Yeah, I ain't worried about him. It's all about us. Focus forward here. Yeah, you let him have it the first time. Second time, he got what he deserved. All good.
Well.
So they're saying that it was Kyle Busch's fault and he got what he deserved. I think that might be his crew chief or his spotter. Not exactly sure who, but Cory LaJoie saying that he hooked himself there as well, putting the blame on Kyle Busch. And I just don't see that. I think Cory LaJoie's actions are what caused Kyle Busch to wreck. I think it was him being the instigator in this point. I think he's the one who spun him out. And I think he actually admits that in the post-race interview there as well, where he says that he clearly hit him twice and did that. I don't think he's taking responsibility for it, but I think he is kind of admitting that he did indeed do that. And he's just kind of saying like, hey, I got to run. I got to stick with it. And he was like, that's just kind of racing. I'm not sure I agree with that. I think that he could have let off. I think Kyle Busch was absolutely right on that. He could have got out of the gas and he chose not to. And that's a choice that he made. So that is on him. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below.